Goodness, y'all like piranhas. The first thing that crossed my mind was I thought my honeybees were bleeding. How I'm going to prune this tree right here. I call them energy vampires is what I call them.
Better get that girl some roses. I'm just saying.
You get most of your blooms off your horizontal. Y'all look at these two right here. What is going on, y'all? Jason over here at Cog Hill Farm. Hope you're having the best day ever today. Looks like our freezing temperatures are gone for at least 10 days. So I'm gonna go ahead and uncover the calendula here and see what we look like. I think we should be fine, considering we've had a lot colder weather than we did the last couple of days. Actually, nights, really. Dude, tell you what, I think this will make life easier because I know we're gonna have another cold snap. I know it. It's way too early to just take everything up, you know what I mean? So, I got an idea. We're gonna leave this side down right here. And I'm just going to just flip the frost cloth over. If that doesn't make sense, and it will when I'm done here. I think that's gonna make it way easier if I gotta put it back out. And my gut tells me we're going to do this at least one more time. Maybe twice. Now my thinking is, if we do got a freeze coming, we can just flip it over. We don't have to worry about unrolling it all. And if it is windy, this will be a lot less, well, should be easier, I should say. Let me go get that end straightened up down here. The bees are loving the henbit right now. If you don't know what henbit is, let me show you. Because it's pretty popular, I say popular. It's pretty common here in our area. This is henbit right here. And you've probably seen this stuff. It is, it's considered a weed here. But, let me tell you what it does do. This gives the bees something, you know, to eat while everything else is kind of dormant right now. So you'll see your honeybees on this, and there's another way you can tell your honeybees are going to henbit, and this is what's crazy, and we've talked about it before in the past, but in case some of y'all don't know. Let me tell you a story though. The first time I saw this with our honeybees at our old farm, it scared me. It literally scared me because number one, the first thing that crossed my mind was I thought my honeybees were bleeding. And then, you know, you think, well, Jason, how in the world? Because honeybees don't have blood like us. Why would you think your honeybees are bleeding? Well, you know, when you first see something, that was my first initial thought. And then, you know, my brain said, Jason, honeybees don't bleed like that. And then I got to going, what in the world? Is something wrong? But the pollen off this purple flower right here is bright red. I mean, literally bright red. And I started seeing tons of our honeybees. And if you ever seen a honeybee, they'll put that pollen like a little pocket. The pollen is like a little pocket on their back leg. And generally it's yellow, right? Typically it's some color of yellow. So to see it bright red really did freak me out when I first saw it. So if you've never noticed that before, look around. If you got a field or you see this henbit right here in your grass or your lawns, and you do see honeybees, or if you do have beehives, and you probably already know this by now, but if you don't, look at the pollen they're bringing in. It is really super cool because it is literally bright red. Good source of food for your honeybees right now, so don't try to get rid of it. Just let nature do its thing and let your bees have a little something to eat. And I want to say this too. So I told y'all my collard greens bolted. I was kind of half wrong on that. These purple collard greens bolted. The green ones did not. Two different varieties. Now the green ones are Bonnie's collard green. I can't remember. Let's see if I can find a tag, y'all. Because this is quite interesting. I know these were called purple collard greens. That's what they call them. Bonnie's purple collard greens or something like that. I don't see a tag. The wind probably got it or something like that. But the green ones are still perfectly fine right here. So we're still good on the green ones. So we can harvest these green ones and continue to eat these, which we have been doing a lot. We probably have collard greens at least twice a week here on the farm. One of our favorite vegetables to grow and eat. It's even good raw. I'd even like this in a salad. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. You are not gonna trick me this morning. Nope, because I already know Mama's already been out here and gathered eggs and took care of y'all. She told me so. I will tell y'all this. Brooke has been very, what word am I looking for? Not selective, I guess selective, but she has really refrained herself from buying chicks. She's been in our Tractor Supply multiple times. They've had chicks in there, but nothing that tripped her fancy. She's being really selective about what she brings into the flock, especially when she got those 52 eggs the other day. You know, she was like, I don't know if we actually need any more chickens, but who says that I don't need any more chickens, right? So, Brooke has been disciplined. She really has been disciplined. She even went to another farm store that wasn't Tractor Supply that has some cool chickens too, and she refrained herself from buying chicks there as well. So she told me, she said, I'm going to be disciplined on my chick shopping this year. So far, she's living up to that. Gotta say, I'm kind of proud of her. You know, it's kind of like me going to the nursery and not buying anything. Gotta be disciplined, which is tough. Speaking of Brooke, Brooke did have a doctor's appointment today. She's hoping to get some good news. She has really been sticking out on this diet. You know, she cut all the gluten out, and then when she did that, you know, it cleared a lot of things up. But then when something that doesn't contain gluten triggers her autoimmune disease, she writes it down, and then she starts researching that type of food. So I forget what it was that triggered it. I'm just gonna throw this as an example, and this may not have been it, but say it was like a diet Dr. Pepper or something like that, which was gluten-free, and she wanted to know why that particular thing triggered her autoimmune disease. So she would research the ingredients in that, and she'd start researching that, and she'll jot it down that this caused that, and then something else caused it. She would see if there was any two of the same chemical. So if they shared or had the same stuff in it, then she would do, you know, put 2 and 2 together and say, hey, citric acid is causing this as well. So she has really got it dialed in. She's eating a lot of bland food. I'm telling you, a ton of bland food. But she feels a whole lot better. And so she's going to tell the doctor today all the research she's been doing and what her symptoms are now and how much better she feels. And I think her ultimate goal is that she's hoping that she can get off her medication that she's on. Baby steps though. We don't want to jump to no conclusions. We don't want to, you know, have to start all back over again and this, that, and another. Come on, let's go. Come on, girl, let's go. We got things to do today, baby. Things to do. I do want to let y'all know that I got started on the next kids video, and I told y'all my goal was to do at least 1 a month, maybe by the end of the year get 2 a month out. I have not put out a kids video in February. My goal is to get that video out before this month ends. I will be cutting it close, but I'm going to work my tail off and get that done. It might be on the last day of this month, but I'm definitely gonna work my tail off and get that done. I can promise you. I did talk about in the last video that it is time for me to start getting ready for the spring and summer with the stuff we grow around here, particularly the fruit trees and my roses, two of my biggest loves here on the farm. Actually, my two favorite places here on the farm, or areas I should say. Hopefully the back garden becomes one of those oases as well. But right now I love the fruit orchard and I love the Alabama parterre garden where I got my roses growing. And it is time to start doing maintenance. And I told y'all that I'm going to show y'all what I'm going to do when it comes to this time of the year. Pruning, spraying. I'm not going to fertilize today because it's just not time to fertilize. We're going to do that around March the 10th. That's when we're going to start our for real yearly fertilizing schedule with the roses, fruit trees, or any other trees and shrubs we're growing here. But today I'm going to prune the fruit trees, trellis them if need be, prune the roses, trellis them if need be, and I'm going to go ahead and spray these guys, getting ready for the spring and the summer. This will be their first spraying that we're going to do. And of course, everything we do here, we try to be as organic as possible if we can. And I say this all the time because I know some people don't agree with the way I do things here, the way I till. There's just some things here that people don't agree with me. I'm not 100% organic. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to come out here and tell you this is the way it's going to do it. And then when I cut the camera off, I do something totally different because that's just not honest, and that's not the type of person I am. But I try my best. I absolutely try my best. And I always tell you guys this all the time. Every farm's different. Every homestead's different. Every home garden's different. And you always do the best you can. And that's all you can do. So don't fall in that cycle or that hole or that negative place in your mind that if you don't do it a certain way, then you're a failure and you just don't do it at all. Because to me, that's the worst thing possible. Getting outside, getting in this sunlight, breathing fresh air, and growing your own food, growing flowers, or doing something you love outside in the garden or on your farm or at your homestead, no matter what, is way better than getting in that negative space in your head. Growing your own food, no matter how you do it, is way better for you than buying it from the grocery store. Just always remember that. Don't let anybody tell you anything different. Don't let everybody pin you down and make you feel like a loser and make you feel like a failure because you don't do things a certain way. Because again, everybody's different. The problems and issues I may have here on my farm may be totally different than the problems and issues that you may have in Michigan. And I may have to do things different than you do. I have a super high humid climate here, and humidity is the breeding ground for funguses and bacteria and blights and all that. And we have to struggle with that here. That's why I don't grow a lot of heirloom variety of tomatoes and plants, because of that issue. I grow a lot of hybrids here. Always do what works for you. And try different things. Try different things. Now, I'm going to get off my soapbox because I just don't want people to feel bad or feel negative or feel like they're not doing something right or they can't do it because this is how so-and-so said you had to do it. This is how so-and-so says it's got to be done. If I don't do it this way, then it's bad. Just get all that out of your mind, okay? Getting outside, breathing fresh air, being in the sunshine, working, moving around, stretching, bending over, growing your own food, feeling successful, feeling accomplished, just listening to the birds and your chickens and just all that will make you happy. And we don't want any of all that other garbage. I call them energy vampires is what I call them. We don't need any energy vampires. You know what I mean? We're out here enjoying life and enjoying what we're doing, enjoying being outside, enjoying our garden. So that's what it's all about. Now, let me show you what I'm going to do. And maybe you can learn something from this, and maybe you can teach me something, because I always say this all the time. I am not a know-it-all. I don't pretend to be a know-it-all, and I take you guys' advice. And did y'all hear that? That's the mouth of the South's husband. But I take your guys' advice and recommendations, and if I see it, I read it, and I will consider it. And again, I'm definitely not a know-it-all, and don't act like I am. Now let's get out here, let's have some fun, let's enjoy this beautiful sunshine, and let's see what we need to do out here on the fruit orchard and with our roses. You ain't done for the day already, are you? Let me tell you how you can help me. Right up on you are my clippers. If you could hand me those clippers, I sure would be appreciative. Right here, let me get them, right here. Let me scoop. Where'd they go, Holly? They was right there. They was just right there. Y'all, I just literally had them. Oh, I see them. Here they go. You ain't helping at all. At all. You're like you glued to the side by side. Yeah. Come on down, girl. We got things we got to do. Okay, let's get to pruning. Now, I do want to say this. I'm not a fruit tree expert. This is something that my knowledge on is, let's just say it's growing. And just, these are going on 4 years now, and I'm learning every single year about fruit trees. And it's just so much to learn there. And I'm on the novice level here, but I am going to show you guys what I know and what I do here when it does come to my fruit trees. And for example, blueberries. I don't know that much about pruning the blueberries. So I'm not even going to prune those guys yet, but that's going to be one of my focuses this year, is to learn how to do the blueberries. But I got a pretty good handle on the apples, persimmons, and pear trees, and of course fig trees, and the blackberries. So let me just show you. Let me just show you what I'm going to do. For those that don't know, I am growing a lot of my fruit trees on this trellis system right here. And you can see I got 3 wires, and I think is it 2, 4, 6 foot, or 3, 5, and 7, something like that. But I think it's 2, 4, 6. I think that's what I got here. 2, 4, 6 foot on the trellis system here. And basically what that does is it's going to focus all the energy on the branches that I got growing on the trellis. And if you look, you can see what I'm doing. You can see we got, right here, we got these 2 main branches, and they're going down that first trellis. This one's going on the second, and that third one is growing up there on the third. Okay, and you'll really see it when we get to the apples. This pear tree, this is a Asian pear, which are my favorite pears. This is either a Shinko or a Hatsui pear tree here. And you can see it kind of grows all kind of which way like that. You know, it's just all just abstract looking. You're going to see when we get down to the Korean giant Asian pear, totally different. But main thing is, I don't want any cross branching, okay? I don't want branches crossing and rubbing and touching each other. I really don't want a whole bunch in between here growing. I want all my focus to be on my 2 main branches right here. And I don't want a whole bunch of stuff real close together either, which will eventually lead to cross branching. And I definitely don't want anything super tall, because I don't want to have to get a 6-foot ladder. This is on a hill, and add the mulch under it. You know, I just don't want to be up there harvesting fruit, if you know what I mean. But let me show you what we got going on. And I'm not going to show you every single tree, how I'm pruning it. I'll just show you a couple, and that'll give you an idea on how I do it. And again, I said this in the last video, don't be scared to prune. you're really not gonna mess anything up, honestly, for the long term. Now you may cut, it'd be kind of hard on this, but if I were to actually cut this main branch off, I would lose this 4 years of growth here and have to start over right here, but it's not gonna kill the tree, okay? So, you know, cutting little stuff here and there is not gonna hurt anything. You know, you're not gonna make a devastating prune or a devastating cut that's gonna just mess everything up. It's not. The only thing you can do, basically, in my opinion, is that you may delay something. You may cut something that you shouldn't cut, and instead of it producing flowers or fruit this year, it might be next year. That's gonna be the worst mistake you can make, honestly. And again, unless you just cut the main trunk off. Even if you cut that off, this tree's still alive, and eventually it's gonna grow back up again. So just always remember that. You're not going to, you know, wipe everything out by pruning it, okay? You just may delay some things, but other than that, you're not gonna hurt anything. And always remember, pruning is better than not pruning, in my opinion. It is. Keeping it clean, keeping the cross branches, all that's gonna let this tree breathe, get a lot of air, which is going to be less disease, and possibly let the tree live longer than it normally would. But let's get into it. Let me show you what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna give you a POV style, which I've never done. So this is new, I've never done it this way, of showing you guys how I'm gonna prune this tree right here. And then I'll go on down and prune the rest of them. And then I'll show you how I do an apple tree and the persimmons. And then we'll go down and check the blackberries out, and then we'll get on the roses. But I'm not gonna show you every single tree, okay? I almost forgot. Number one, have you a solution 10 to 1. 10 parts water, 1 part bleach. So you can do it in every single cut. You can clean your clippers, but for sure, 100%, clean your clippers before you go to another tree, because if this tree has a disease that you can't see right now that's hibernating until spring comes, if you cut this, don't clean your clippers and go to the next tree, then you're going to spread that disease. So 10 to 1, 10 parts water, 1 part bleach. And you can use the spray bottle. I'm using this method because I do like it better. All right, so right now I'm looking through here. I want to clean all this up because I don't want anything growing out my main trunk line that's going straight up, okay? We want to keep this clean. We want all our energy to be on our branches. So you can see right here, we're going to clip that off. I'm going to clip this off. I don't like that one. All this, just going to clean all this up, okay? Over here, done. I don't like this one. That one can stay. You can see I've clipped this before because I got so much going on right there. Looking. This all looks fairly good. We're starting to get tall up here, but that's about out of my reach. So we're going to just cut this off right here and right there. This all looks okay right here. All looks good right in here. Oh, here's one. We're gonna cut that off. Cut all this off. All right, we're looking. I don't like this one. You can see this branch here is starting to grow here. So it's eventually gonna cross branch right here. And cross branches when you got 2 branches crossing each other, and they'll eventually start rubbing. And where they rub, that could cause a disease because that can get bare right there. So we're looking right here. You can see how close this is to this. We don't need that right there. I'm looking, see this one can start cross branching. Just keeping this all clean in here. Any more in there? I think we're looking good. We're looking good. I don't like that. I don't like where this one's growing. It's gonna grow right through here and interfere with these. We don't want that. That one's already cross branching right there. All these are cross branching. They're small, but they'll eventually get there, okay? We don't need that one. All right, I'm liking this. I don't want that one to grow that way. This one, I don't want it to grow that way. As a matter of fact, I'm cutting this whole thing down. Why would you cut this pretty branch right here down? All right, so look, it's gonna go here. It's gonna touch this one, and it's gonna touch our main trunk. I don't need it. So we're gonna cut it out right there. All right here. This has gotten too tall. We're gonna start hitting this limb. That's gonna start cross branching. Cut it. Let's cut this one right there. See how this one's growing that way? Get rid of it. Right there, don't need that. Let's see here. See how this one's growing and touching this one? Don't need that. Just keeping it all nice and clean right now. All this looks pretty good in here. Don't see anything else over there. This one, I think we can keep this one. We're gonna keep that one. I don't need these growing back towards the tree though. Okay, because that would grow this way and into the tree, which we don't want. You see this one right here is starting to rub. Don't want that. That's growing towards the tree. Don't want that. That's gonna grow up towards the tree. All right, there we go. This one's already, it's gonna start rubbing right there. That's gone. Look in here, this one's rubbing. So we get rid of it. And you can see, all right, this branch is gonna grow that way. That's gonna start touching something. Don't want that. That looks okay. That's not gonna work out. That one looks okay. All right, let's see what else we got here. And you can see right here is a good example of cross branching. If you look right here, you see it? These two are rubbing. So this one I don't want. Get rid of it. See, now we're good and clean. Right there. Any more? I think we're good. This would eventually come across this one. You can see this is not doing well. Don't need that. Right there, we got crossing right there. All right, let's see. Let's stand back and look at this. Do I see anything else? Yeah, right here. I don't want this one. That one's growing towards the center. Definitely this one's gonna grow towards this way. That's too much right there. See, that's gonna grow. See, this limb's gonna grow towards these. So we don't need that one. Okay. All right, I'm liking this. We're looking good. We're looking good. This branch is starting to cross this one. So we don't want that one. All right. Looking good. These are really close together. We're gonna get rid of one of them. All right, that's growing back towards the center. Don't want that. That's growing back towards the center. Don't want those. Those are really close together, so we're gonna pick one. All right, y'all. Starting to get this one about like we want it. And you can spend as much time on these as you want, okay? You really can. Definitely, here's big major cross branching. You see how that's crossing and touching? So let's cut this one off right there. Really got a lot going on in here. That's gonna continue, so let's definitely get rid of that one. Don't need that. Now let's go on this side, make sure we didn't miss anything, because you may see something over here that you didn't see on that side. You know, like that, I didn't see that. That's growing, we don't want that, okay. See how this limb's growing this way, so that limb will continue to grow into this one, so we don't need that. And the same for that one. This is cross branching, see I didn't see that on that side. All right, I didn't see you, y'all. I think this is gonna be it. I think this is good. I think we're good. So let's get our big clippers out and cut these tall branches right here. All right, I got my big clippers, and let's cut these guys here on off. I don't need a super tall tree at all. There we go. And now, perfect. That's it, perfect. Now we've really cleaned up this tree. You can see everything is growing up or out. I try not to let anything grow towards the middle. And got rid of all the cross branching that I saw on this one. And I'll do this all the way down. I do want to show y'all this though. I said I was going to show y'all the Korean giant, how it's different than the Shinko or the Hatsui. This is the Korean giant, which is a big Asian pear tree and produces some the biggest or some of the biggest pears out there. They're huge and they're super delicious. But this tree wants to grow straight up. If you left this tree alone, it would not get very wide and just be kind of tight and straight up like that. And that's one good thing about growing it on this trellis system, is that I'm making it spread itself out. But you can see how everything is just, it's just straight. Everything's just going straight up. So you really got to train this one to grow the proper way. Look, I got mistletoe out here. Right there. That's something. And I don't mind mistletoe. I really don't. The cedar waxwings, it's a great food for cedar waxwings, but I don't want it growing on my fruit trees. Dip my clippers, and then we're going to finish out the pears here, and then I'm going to show you how to do the apple trees. All right, I hope that made sense as to what I did. I'm going to show you an apple tree. And then after I do the apple tree, you should get a fairly good idea on how to keep your pears and apples and persimmons and really any kind of tree pruned. Once you start looking for anything growing back towards the tree trunk or back towards into the tree, you know that's got to be cut. You start looking for anything that's growing towards another limb or a much larger limb, you know that's got to be cut. And any cross branching, anything that's touching or rubbing each other, you cut that out. And if you see anything dead or diseased, you cut that out. And that's it, you know, and keep it trimmed to the height you want. That's honestly it. It's not hard at all. And once you start realizing that, you can start seeing it pretty fast, and it just becomes easier and easier each time you prune back your trees. Now, I did have some things that I need to trellis real quick. I'm gonna come down here and look. It was down here. Let's see here. That one's not quite ready yet. Where were we? Okay, right here on this Korean giant right here. And I don't think I'm going to spray today because the wind is starting to pick up again. And I definitely don't want to spray in the wind. But I want this to continue to grow down this way. So I'm just going to pull this limb down right here. Did y'all see that? No, you didn't, did you? Let me show you what I'm doing. You can see right here my trellis. Actually, this right here got cut, and I'm thinking I had fire blight here, and I cut it out before it spread to the tree. So my limb stops right here, and I want it to grow down this trellis, but it continued growing straight up right here. You can see this one here, so I'm going to pull it down gently. You don't want to break it. You want to feel it's pretty pliable. So we're just going to pull this down and tie it off, and that will now be my new main limb growing down this way for me. And we'll continue to train this on down right here. And you can really see it here. There it is. And it was cut right there. That was my original limb growing this way. And now I got a new one. And always use an elastic tape, something that's flexible, because as this thing grows and gets bigger, you want this tape to stretch, okay? You don't want this to dig into your plant. And that goes for any type of plant. Let's move on to the apple tree. This is going to be very similar to the pear tree. Really not much difference in all, but I do want to show y'all how I'm going to do this apple tree. And hopefully anybody that is trying to learn how to prune their fruit trees will learn something from this episode. So let me show you. Same thing though. Same thing. We got our 1, 2, 3, or really 2, 4, 6. 6 main branches running down our line. Of course, you got our main trunk going straight up and down. And you just got to clean this thing up. All right, here we go. There. Got our clippers dipped. So let's have at it. Got a lot going on here. All this needs to be cleaned up. We don't want nothing growing towards the center of the tree. That's what we're cleaning up right now. Cleaning all this up. This is all kind of a Pretty big mess. Alright, there's mess number one. I don't like this branch. It's really too close together. So is this one. See that? Really too close together. We don't need that. Don't need you. Let's see, don't need you. We're looking good. That's kind of growing the wrong way. I'm gonna leave that. That's in the center. That's in the center. Already look how good that looks right there. Looks pretty good. Now this one I was kind of torn about, but it's kind of growing to an empty area over here. So for now, we're gonna let that be. I may come back and cut that next year. I don't know. We're gonna leave this one alone right now. Actually, this whole thing can just be cut off. I don't need that at all. That little bitty one, this one's growing. See, this one right here is growing into this one. Don't want that. This is growing that way. Don't want that. Again, you can see it's all growing towards something else. We don't need it. We got a little disease right there. I'm just gonna cut that whole thing off right there. I don't need that. That's growing. That should be okay. Kind of don't like. Yeah, I'm gonna leave that. First, I thought I didn't like that, but I'm gonna leave that alone for now. But right here, growing back towards the tree, cut it. Growing this way into this whole conglomeration right here, cut it. All right, here we go. That looks good. That looks good. That doesn't. See how that's growing into that? We don't want that. This one right here is gonna start growing into that. All those, we don't want those. See this one right here? Got a lot going on here. Growing into here. These two are too close. That's growing into there. See how easy that is once you start learning what to cut? All this is growing into the middle. We don't want anything growing back towards the tree. You can see this limb here is growing all in amongst those. Don't need that at all. I don't like this one. Too close. This is kind of growing into there. Matter of fact, this limb all together. You can see, look at this limb right here. We got this limb that's growing, it's starting to grow this way. We got this one growing this way. It splits off, go this. Then we got this one. So if this one grows up through here, it's gonna get into this. If it curves and goes this way, it's gonna get into this. So honestly, I don't want it right there. I'm just gonna cut it off. Now, maybe it'll split off and start growing this way, which would be great. So that's why we cut it like that. All right, all this looks okay. I don't like that. All right, that looks good. That looks good. See, that's growing right into that big limb right there. Y'all see this limb here? It's going right into that big limb. Cut it. This right here is kind of growing towards that. Cut it. Matter of fact, I may get my big loppers and cut this whole thing off because it's doing nothing but growing into everything. So I don't think I can cut it with these. No, yeah, I did too. That was pretty cool. But already, look how that was just a jumbled up mess just a few minutes ago. Now look at it. How about that? You can see, look at here. Here's cross branching right there. Good example. This branch here is crossing up in here, rubbing with this one, rubbing with this one. This one's actually too close anyways. So there I had to make a decision. Do I want to get rid of this limb or do I want to get rid of this limb, right? And there's really no wrong answer there, honestly. Really not. I'm leaning towards getting rid of this one. If I get rid of this one right here, yeah. Don't ask me why, I'm just going with my gut. Right there. Gone. I mean, how easy was that? How long did that take us? Just a few, not even probably 5 minutes. And this tree's near about done. All right, just like that, apple trees, pear trees, persimmon trees, all done. So right now, I really don't have anything else to prune here in the fruit orchard. I just peeked at the blackberries, they're doing okay. It's just no new growth on them. Now let's go take a look at the roses. Roses, roses, roses. All right, now we're gonna prune our roses, but only the repeat bloomers, only. Not going to prune our spring bloomers now because they've already set their buds and they're about to bloom. And they're only going to bloom that one time, and that is in the spring, and that's it. So if you prune those guys now, you're not going to have very many blooms because you're probably going to cut most of them off. So repeat bloomers only, which is like my drift roses right here who bloom all year long. And this bed is so massive, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger every year. I mean, this bed is 2.5 years old, 2.5 or 3, 2.5 or 3 years old. And these are 1-gallon plants. And you can see how huge this is now. These things grow like crazy, and they're almost like knockout roses to some degree. They're relentless. It's a bush style rose. It stays really low, and you really can't hurt it. You can't. Not all roses are like this, but these drift roses or your knockout roses, now's the time to cut those guys back. General rule of thumb, up to 1/2 of the new growth of the previous year, cut it back. If you cut more of these guys off, it's not going to hurt them. These guys right here are relentless. I'm probably going to get the electric clippers on these because it's so many. Last year, year before last, I could hand prune them, but now, I mean, y'all just look. It's just, oh, I definitely have to get the electric clippers on these or I'll be out here for 5 days. Now, let's go on to something else. Jason, what about your springtime bloomers? Well, we'll cut these guys when they're done blooming, okay? And then they're good to go. Now, I do want to tell y'all this. Now, I made a mention a few videos ago, and it was Brooke's idea, which is a grand idea. Earlier this year, I told y'all that I was going to remove these American pillar roses that I got growing on my rose swag here because they had becoming high maintenance. And then I got stuck by a thorn and ended up having to go to the doctor and all that good stuff. So my decision was get rid of them, put something here that's less maintenance and not that many thorns, and that is Peggy Martin. That rose is almost bulletproof as well and is relentless and is semi-thornless. When you hear a rose that's thornless, typically it does have thorns on it, but they're either soft or tiny and they don't hurt. It's not like this American pillar rose right here, which you gotta have gloves. I learned my lesson. You gotta have gloves with this one or it will eat you alive. That was what I was gonna do. Pull these up, plant Peggy's here. So Brooke said this, which would make perfectly good sense. These roses are okay. Right now, they're established, they're growing well. Save these, don't pull these up. Plant the Peggy Martins on the post that we're going to install in the backyard Alabama potager garden. Because we're going to put these posts all around that backyard garden, and I want to plant roses on them. And she said, because I got 5 Peggy Martins now. Take your 5 Peggy Martins, plant them, and whatever you need to finish the back out, that make perfectly good sense. So I'm gonna leave these roses this year. Now, over the years, I've had trouble with these, like I said, disease and the thorns. The thorns I can get around because I bought some really good gloves. The disease, I didn't know what to do. And that's when Jason from Petals from the Past told me what I was doing wrong with these guys. And he told me how to spray and all that, and we'll get into all that later. The only rose right now that I'm going to prune and just show y'all is my roses back here in the back, which is my Zephyrin Druin rose, which is a climber, and I'm training it to climb on this fence. The way we're going to do it is very similar to the fruit orchard over there, because I got 3 fence rails right here, okay? And I want a branch growing this way on this bottom fence rail, and I want a branch growing this way on that bottom fence rail. And the same on the second one, and the same on the third one. So you can kind of see I already got it going. Let's see, you can really see it here. Right here. Y'all see this? This is right here. See how that branch is going down through there? I got one right here at the bottom as well. And it's all these side shoots. All these shoots that are coming off this horizontal branch. And the reason we do that is because you get most of your blooms off your horizontal main branches. So the quicker and faster and the more branches you can get horizontal, you're gonna see all these little side shoots right here. And that's where your blooms come from, or the majority of your blooms. So theoretically, we want only 6 really big main branches, okay? 2 at the bottom, 2 in the middle, 2 at the top. That's all we really want. And then, of course, the side shoots that are coming off those are perfectly fine. So we're gonna cut anything out that interferes with that setup, okay? That's number 1. Then we're gonna cut out anything that's old or diseased. So I'm gonna start cutting anything. You don't want anything out here, right? We don't want anything growing in our pathway or anything like that. So definitely gonna start taking all this out. Now, got all that out of the way. Next I'm gonna start looking for anything diseased or dead, like this one right here. You can see this is a diseased or dead piece of rose right here. You see, we're just gonna cut that out. We don't need that at all, right? Gone. This is trying to come out in my pathway. Get it out of the way, okay? Now we want to leave some stuff in the middle here because we want it to look like a full rose. So we can leave some stuff in the middle. You can see here, here's our horizontal branch right here. And it'll continue to grow all the way down this fence row right here. And here's all of our side branching right here. This is where all of our huge, beautiful blooms are going to come from. All right there. Same up here, horizontal side shoots right there. All these side shoots, that's where our blooms are going to come from. Right here, our bottom horizontal branch, main branch, side shoots. This is going to be the blooms. Once you see that and understand it, it makes pruning your climbing and rambling roses a lot easier. Even like, let me show you on my American pillar here. So I'm getting it horizontal by twisting it around and around and around. So it's kind of like a candy cane stripe. It's not completely horizontal, but it's pretty close. But when I do it that way, look at all this side branching. Look at it. It's everywhere. So this rose, come spring, y'all, it's gonna be gorgeous. I don't know if you remember them last year, but absolutely stunning. There will be 1,000,000 blooms on these roses because of the way I'm training it to grow this way. Now on your bush roses, totally different, kind of like our drift roses right here. You don't have to worry about it going horizontal. You don't have to worry about side branching. It's gonna bloom, okay? Because that's what shrub roses do. Totally different than these guys right here. So right now we're looking for anything diseased, like right here. Gonna cut that off. Anything that's dead, anything that got damaged by winter or anything like that, I'm just gonna cut it off. This don't need to be here. Anything that's hanging over my pathway, I want to get it. I don't want it in my way. Since I don't have one coming down through here, I'm gonna put us a new one right there. So if you look right here, I lost this horizontal branch that goes right here on my top rail going off to the left, but I got a good one right here that's a great candidate right there for that. And that's what we're going to put right here. And this will be my top rail main branch. And this will start producing shoots everywhere. Once this thing gets established and you get you a good solid base of your 6 branches running horizontal on a fence like this, it will fill in itself with all that side shoots, all them side shoots coming off that horizontal branching. It'll fill all that in and it won't look so bare right in here. And that's when it becomes extremely beautiful. Kind of like that. I don't like this coming out that far though. Right there. And one other trick you can do on one of these is that, you got a front and back to this fence. And you can do the same thing on the back side of this fence. And, get double the blooms on the front and the back. So just don't do it on one side. Do the exact same thing you're doing on the front on the back, and it'll look way more full and just be more beautiful when you do it that way. So don't neglect the back. This rose here gets a lot more shade and it's not as vigorous as that one over there, but it is doing well though. It's hanging in there. All right, let's see if we can get this bent over here and get us a horizontal branch going here. Just like that. And there we go, horizontal branch. And this will continue to grow all the way down there, produce our side shoots, fill all this in, and be gorgeous. I don't have many, but I do have a few treats for the goats here. And let's go get the goats. And these haven't been sprayed, so we don't have to worry about anything like that. So let's go get the goats a little rose treat. Nothing big, but they thoroughly enjoy it though. You think they're gonna like that treat, girl? Look out, Jesse. Oh! For a minute there, I thought we were about to get some zoomy action going. I did. The day's still young, right, Loretta? Got you guys some treats, though. Come on. Tell me what y'all think. Come here. Look at them. They don't know I got it yet. But watch this. Here they come. Here comes Fifi. Come get you something. Come on. We got to share, though, okay? We got to share. Everybody's got to get some. Here you go, Bo. Everybody's got to get some. Here you go, Boot. Here you go, Bootsy. Goodness, y'all like piranhas. Yeah. Y'all are like piranhas. Have at it. Oh, goodness. Hey, girl, I'm sorry I don't have anything for you. I don't think you like roses, do you? You might. Those Gus give you roses. Huh? The Gus give you roses for Valentine? Say. No. He better giving you a watermelon. That's what he better giving you. Right? Yeah, he better giving you a watermelon at least. If not, I'll have a talking to him. How about that? Okay? I do want to say this. The mineral bucket is still, y'all, hanging in there like a hair in a biscuit. Y'all see it? Moody has not turned it over. It's still, I see them using it. They think I'm feeding. I'm not feeding, y'all. It's not feeding time. Y'all look at Tater. I'm talking about zoomies. Look at Big Mildred. Go, girl! Moody's out there running. Goodness gracious. Didn't get my camera out fast enough. I wasn't expecting y'all to be running out here giving us zoomies. Yeah, it's not time to eat, y'all. Not near about time, okay? Got a little bit. I just wanted to show everybody y'all's mineral bucket how the strap is still working. It is. Won't be too long. We're going to get the old cattle curtain down. Get ready for fly season. And I just got a package in the mail today that we're going to put out tomorrow to help with flies. And we're going to try that this year. Y'all stay tuned for that. Y'all look at these two right here. I mean, come on. Just look at it. I'm talking about you. Hey, no sense in getting up now. No sense in getting up now. I did get the fruit orchard cut, and I got the roses cut. Some of them, not all of them. I'm gonna work on that probably tomorrow too. Yeah. I tell you what, I do got something for you. Hang on. Hold your horses. This is a potbelly pig treat right here. So I do got something for you. I do. You ready? Look here. You ready? Don't bite me. There you go. Now. I bet that was worth 25 cents, wasn't it? Huh? At least 25 cents. Keep her straight, Pocket. Keep her straight, girl. T-Rex Tater, stir it up now. Girl, it's a good 2 hours for feeding time. I don't care. Listen, I don't care. That's a good 2 hours. That T-Rex Tater, I tell you the truth, I think she's got a hollow leg. I do. Probably 2 hollow legs. Because she don't ever stop eating. Sometimes I think Loretta is the most hangry animal here, but T-Rex Tater got them all beat. Promise you. I never would have thought Jesse would want a rose. Yeah, I'm gonna have to buy Jessie some roses for Valentine's Day, honey. And you too, girl. Yeah, I will. I'll remember that next year, okay? I'll definitely remember that next year. Goodness gracious, y'all too. Yeah, I know. I know. I know. Well, y'all, thank you for helping me prune the fruit orchard and the roses today. Hope you learned something. I hope that made sense to you. And hope you have a beautiful, beautiful day. Catch you guys on the next one, right, honey? Y'all be good.